After several videos of me saying that I was going to start the alignment after the second or third video, and then now it's like the seventh one or whatnot, we're finally here. Alignment time. So it's time to get out to the garage and let's go from there. First thing I gotta do is I've released the parking brake, the steering wheel's still straight, and it's in neutral. I want to say it's in neutral. I'll put it in neutral if it isn't, and I will be rolling it back and forth a couple of times to settle the suspension. Can't do much around here without lifting your hair up though. That should be good. Let's review my setup real fast. So we have this PVC pipe running on top of the two jacks. And then there's fishing line here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's in that notch there. And that fishing line goes all the way down to that other jack stand, which has the same PVC pipe. Well, not the same PVC pipe, but a PVC pipe going the same direction. This is looking at the back of it, and essentially what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create a perfect square around the car so that I can get measurements of the wheel here. I have my ruler here and I'm going to be checking. Usually I prefer to have these caps off, and I just like to check right off the off either the nut that's there or the CV axle if it sticks out further than the nut. But unfortunately I didn't think about it and I put the wheels on and everything like that. It should be okay. This should still be pretty much the same length on both sides. These caps are exactly the same, so shouldn't be too crazy there. Anyway, as you can see, the fishing line comes through here. You don't really want to touch that. But before I get started making any measurements, I'm going to measure from the center of the hub to this fishing line here on all sides. And basically what I want is I want the front, let's pretend that this is the true measurement here. I would want the front to have 11.5 centimeters on both sides. So this string would be 11 centimeters off over here, and it would be 11 centimeters off on the other side. Now the back wheel, whatever the back wheel shows, that the back wheel's gonna obviously show a completely different number. That's what I would want for the wheel on the left side to show and match the wheel on the right side. So if the wheel on the left side shows, for example, 7 centimeters, then I would want the other wheel to show centimeters in the rear. I don't believe I mentioned this, but these notches that are cut into this PVC pipe are the exact same length on this pipe as it is on the other pipe on the back. So these are measured from the outside in, and that is how you get the exact same measurement and you make a perfect rectangle around the car. Okay, so I've gone ahead and made this rough diagram. The center of each front wheel is 110 millimeters out from the string, and then the rear I got 115 millimeters. So, and here, I'm gonna show you that. If it'll focus. Anyway, right there. And then let me get the back. And there's the back. All right, so checking the outside of the wheel. So here we get 84. I'm not sure if I can hover over there. So we get 84 millimeters. If we go to the other side, to the front of the back wheel, let me see if I can get there, we get 86 millimeters. Because this is closer to the string, it's a smaller number, meaning that this wheel is going like this. So this is coming in like that. This other one is the opposite, so this is going in like this. And so we are towed in the rear. Okay, I've got the measurements for the front, and I made a mistake on this wheel. Once I wrote it down, I was like, wait, I didn't write that down right. That doesn't make sense. So essentially, this wheel is a total of 6 millimeters towed in, and this one's a total of 3 millimeters towed in. That's, you know, that's quite a bit of a toe in when I'm only trying to have a total of 2 millimeter toe in, meaning this one has to have 1 millimeter toe in and this one has to have a 1 millimeter toe in. So we have to pull this wheel out. So we gotta go this way. And this one, we have to pull it out just a little bit. So instead of being 108 millimeters here, this needs to say 109, this needs to say 110, and this car is extremely symmetrical, and so therefore, this one needs to say the same thing. Instead of saying 107, we need to say 109, and instead of 113, we need to say 110. All right, so a couple of things. I need to loosen this knot here, and then I've already moved this clamp out so that as this spins, the boot's not spinning, because that actually gets pretty tight, and it won't let the boot spin freely. So the only thing is that this doesn't have any notches to grab it, kind of like, you know, like a knot would. So I'm going to try some pliers and just spin it, and if that doesn't work, then I'll have to put a pipe wrench on there and then spin it that way. But what I need to do is, because right now this wheel's like this, so if I tighten this, so meaning I turn to the right, this will come in like that, and that's what I'm aiming for. So I gotta do maybe like, I don't know, maybe 3 full rotations of this, or maybe that might be too much, maybe 2.5 rotations. Turn this inward, and then that should be close. After some spinning, we're around 1/8 on the back, and then on the front of the tire, we're now around 112, I believe. That's where we should be anyway. Unless I hit the string and it just gives me weird. Yeah, so we're close to 112. So I need to spin it a little bit more. Get under there and do a couple more turns on it. I don't believe I did quite 3. I think I only did like maybe 1.5 or 2. It's kind of hard to twist it with this, but it is spinning. All right, so now after the second attempt, I actually got extremely close. Oh my gosh, I just hit the string again. I'm like the worst at hitting that string. So if it'll zoom in, maybe. Anyway, there it is, 110. And then the rear. See if I can get that close shot. It'll zoom in, maybe I have to come out. Come on. Okay. There it is, 109. So now that the back is all set up, well, the front tire is all set up on the right, I have to do the same thing to the left side. One thing I was noticing, I was about to get down there and tighten that outer tie rod nut, just to tighten everything up now that everything's on, like, in line, and I noticed these numbers. So I noticed, and some of you may question this too, the center, so this is 110 millimeters coming out to the string, yet this is also 110 millimeters coming out to the string, which is the front of the wheel. But if we were to have this wheel going straight, this would be 109.5 millimeters, and this would be 109.5 millimeters, and this still would remain as 110. So what that means is that this sticks out more than the rim of the wheel. All right, so a really quick summary of what this looks like basically on this tire. So the passenger tire or wheel, we had to bring it out 5 millimeters because it was out 6 millimeters. The driver wheel, we had to bring it out 2 millimeters because it was out 3 millimeters. So this has a toe in of 1 millimeter, this has another toe in of 1 millimeter. And so at this time, I think we're all good to go. This is now the settings that it's got. So it's got 109 here at the bottom, 110 up here. So it's towed in for 1 millimeter. Doing the same thing over here, 109 on the back, 110 on the front. So it's towed in. I think I said the bottom and I meant the back. So we're towed in 1 millimeter, towed in 1 millimeter here for a total of 2 millimeter tow in. So everything's tying down. One thing that I gotta do is now I just have to tighten the lug nuts on both front wheels, and that the front end is gonna be pretty much good to go for a while until something else breaks, or I'm not gonna drive this for a minute. I have a lot of things that I need to do to it before I start taking it out again, or before I start moving it around, driving it, and so on and so forth. So, oh, I forgot to mention, make sure you check on your steering wheel and make sure that that stays straight. Luckily for me, it hasn't moved. Let me see if I can show it. It's stayed in the same position as it was. I'm gonna call it good for now. One thing I do want to mention that I probably didn't is that you don't want to jack the car up. Once you get the car and you get the suspension to settle, you just want to start making the changes there. Luckily, I'm able to squeeze underneath this car fairly easily, so there was no reason for me to drive it onto any sort of ramp or anything like that. But if you do if you do jack it up or anything of the sort, you need to make sure you have pressure on the wheels, and then again, you technically want to roll the car back and forth so the suspension settles after you've lifted it off the ground. But for now, this is all I have, and so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.